Sanbonani, molweni, dumelani, ndimacheroni, greetings. Yithi sibuyile Nubian Exodus. Namhlanje size ukuthi sizowenza an excellent interview noSisi uzozintroduce uzositshela ukuthi kahle kahle ubani and umalunga nani khona la ephakathi lentuzeni. But ngaphambi kokuthi siqhubeke khona la, please ungakhohlwa ukusubscribe, to like, comment mawuqeda kubhekelela le interview le ethu, and then don't forget also to press the notification button ukwenzela ukuthi ikwazi ukuthi notify every time like mangabe ngena ivideo. And enye into futhi nakhona probably niyabona uBhuti Sishaba akekho ukhona ongale kwama camera, so mhlawumbe throughout the interview nizoloke nimuzwa lakhe lokho ekhuluma nathi. Kodwa khona manje ke ilanga lethu namhlanje we are about uSisi. Sine sivakashi namhlanje usivakashela uSisi la kwa Nubian Exodus uzositshela ukuthi ubani plus nokuthi umalunga nani. Stella nje kunjani kodwa sisi?
Siyaphila butama
Hayi siphilile. Can you please nje ukuthi nje introduce to our audience la ukuthi nje bazi ukuthi ubani bazi ukuthi ubani lo namhlanje osivakashele la kwa Nubian Exodus.
Okay.
Lo
igama lami Andiswa Mgwigwi. NdingumXhosa. Kodwa ke ndingumXhosa olipondokazi at the same time. Ndizalwa kwaFumba. Wendintombi yakwaFumba kodwa ke ndathathwa ke ngubhuti wakwaMgwigwi uNdaba. Sinabantwana ke abayi4 abangamantombazana. Silapha ke seGauteng. I'm just passionate about living. That's who I am.
That's nice.
And I'm passionate about healing, you know. I'm passionate about development. I'm passionate about people, you know. That's who I am.
Indaba ezimnandi lezo kakhulu. So like you are part of the organization ebizwa ukuthi the Healing of Hearts.
Yes.
Nje ngokuliva nje lelo gama lelo liyanambitheka, you know. Besicela nje usixelele about this organization, the Healing of Heart. I think like it's something like abantu abangathanda ukuyiva kakhulu. Sixelele nje ukuthi mhlambe what's behind the name, yini yakwenza ukuthi uqale the organization, coming up with the name, izinto ezinjalo.
Okay. You know what's interesting about this initiative is that it started and went for years and it didn't have a name.
Okay.
Because there was no name that could fit what we were basically trying to do.
Okay.
You know, and I don't believe Ubuti, I came up with the name. I believe God gave us the name, you know. But what happened was, I'll just give a background of what happened. Although it is about Ngomlingo, but I'm sure at least it will give you some kind of clarity.
Yeah.
It was from my own story of so many failures, of confusion, of death of my mind, my spirit, my heart. Ukungazazi uba ngubani, ndifuna ntoni, ndifuna uthini, being bitter and being angry at everyone who did not give me what I want, feeling entitled and owed something by everyone engikwazi ukubambelela kuye, you know, because andina sense of being. And I understand. I have no sense of being.
Yes.
Meaning andikho, so they float. Do you understand? And at some point, because when khulele ecaweni ndingumntana womzalwane umfundisi mandithi.
Also yonke lento lenzeka usecaweni.
No, ayenzeke ndisecaweni, ndikhulele ecaweni and I saw icala ndayiphila icaweni ndayidoja because I was not intocawe. So I was like bayabhora man. Vibe, you know, ngiyayithanda vibe. So there was no vibe there. So bendisecaweni because I had to. Ngumntana ozalelwe apha, but I had to be there. But ndakhula, and it was only after I got married, after my second kid, where there's something wrong with me. Ndiyagula. But ndiyagula njani, because I don't think people can diagnose exactly.
Yes.
Lento ngigula. If you've heard people say ugula ngengqondo, ugula ngento ethile, but bandingekeva umuntu uthi ogula lento ndandiziva ndigula yiyo. But thina ndiyafloata. Thina andikho.
Yeah.
Kutheni andikho. So who do you go to and speak about that? No one. But after lomntana wesibili, that's when I started talking to God and it's either you kill me or you give me some explanation as to what is happening to me. And I don't think doctors can actually diagnose this, but I heard that there is a God who is you.
Yeah.
And if you are real, it's a situation. And I made a promise to God and I said, if we unphilisa kulento indiphethe ndingayazi, I will tell you. So, and that is exactly what happened. God healed me.
Yeah.
God did something in my mind where
Wow.
I'll take you through the journey though, but at some point after Utiko and he isolated me from everyone and everything that I knew and loved.
Yeah.
One isolated, my husband was and I was just there alone. Until it was isolated so that as fundisa lessons as I literally heard the voice of God. But I think, I don't know if it did or later, but the steps of what happened, but one of the lessons of the voice of God was, I want to teach you women how to love yourselves.
Yes.
And the power behind a woman loving herself. Because when you love yourself, you get to know yourself.
Yeah.
And when you know yourself, you discover me.
Yes.
And when you discover me, you discover your power. And when you discover your power, you don't compete with anyone.
Yes.
So when God had done that, the very miraculously, that's of Manus in the ESCOM, where God showed me that now you are ready, I'm taking you out to people. And I got a job at ESCOM. And I remember the first week in Tingena M7, the people that were working there would come to me and say, Ungene njani wena? Abantu abangabe singafuna abantu bangangawe apha. Sifuna abantu abaku-age ungene njani? And at the back of my mind I knew that that voice that was talking to me, a literal was through. And I remember saying to God that first week, and I said, I know I'm here to serve you. First, before Umsebenzi was a ESCOM.
Yeah.
And during that time, he started pointing me to women saying, Yaglamfazi. And then from there, this one lady who is still standing with me, and I'm perhaps who gets time with her name on. And she was the first person to go and come back away. And this lady was crying, and God said, I'm disturbed by her cries. And give her this message. And you know, we started a prayer group, M70. We couldn't stop ourselves. We couldn't succumb to what we are born as a scripture Samaria. That woman didn't wait to be told she just went around telling people I met another a different type of a man. That is what happened to us. Yes. And we became those women who started something new where in M17 people started coming, gardeners, managers. People were brought into that space. So we went on for years, because the work was overflowing. We had to start now something outside. And then outside for years on end, we only got the name. Last year, won't believe it. And this work started 2016. The name only came last year. So that is where he lived. So our hearts are literally, this name is a literal name.
Yenza ilentuziyam selana kakhulu and also like just for that journey yokuthi like uNkulunkulu akuthathe from that place where you felt like you were a non-being. That's just seriously wonderful. And as ukuthi kufuna ukuthi something obhuti baza abantu ukuthi okay no, I
don't have a question.
Okay,
actually, you stole my question.
okay, but this is I remember kwesinye isikhathi where I think Bese Jablani doing another event where we met these young people. One of them said, I call is that that life is meaningless. There's nothing that has meaning. And like just hearing stories can you imagine if you tell abantwana in high schools who have this sense of non-being, they are just so I think really uNkulunkulu mengabe sebenzisa wena ekunyula ukuthi like akwenza ukuthi udlule from those situation that was in fact for some purpose, like uNkulunkulu efuna ukuthi like we fulfill. So angazi ukuthi like in terms of the organization the Healing of Hearts, like what are some of your aims, especially like let's cut this also GBV, high rates of depression, suicide, and also like most of the time it is women who suffer from these things, now like in terms of your aims, your objectives as an organizations in this context what are they like?
To be honest, I don't think it's my aims.
Yes.
I think it's the aims of my Creator.
Yes.
Because I think this situation, society zethu, it wouldn't need human intellect.
Yeah.
But I believe that through what I've seen God do through my life and the organization, I'll relate His aims.
Yes.
The glory must not come to me, it must come to Him.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've actually seen literally happen is this. uThixo wadala zonke izinto wazinika indlela ekumele operate ngayo, and He knew uba once yonke into operate in its being ngendlela ebidalelwe uba operate ngayo, we will not find ourselves in trouble. Do you understand what I'm saying? Umzekelo, there are things ozbonayo ubana ignored and underrated and azisetyenzwa, lento kuthiwa zii-relationships. But before we get into relationships, let's talk about the fact that uThixo of beings azidale male and female. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Amen.
Male and female,
Amen.
Which is masculinity and femininity. Abantu engena omnye kwi-role yakhe, enze role yakhe natural, ibe ngulo angene kwi-role yakhe natural. Of course, aims ezizakwenzeka, but things are going to work naturally. So, and I think njengoba uthetha about GBV, uthetha about all of these things ezenzeka kwi-society, it is because isiphumile esiporweni. And I'll tell you how, ngokwendlela endibone ngayo. Things that I've experienced, not that zize kum. Women naturally, we are influencers. We influence because indlela esidalwe ngayo, eyona relationship yokuqala i-relationship maternal. That's the primary first relationship of a person. Do you understand? Ngumama. So meaning there must be interaction between the two. If you want to express up, because mama sautina awucinga noyicuma uthi yo you know what I mean? And by this umntana, and we think izinto zenzeka naturally, they don't. Umntana njengoba manje sithi ulinganisa actions zikamamakhe,
socialization
uyayibona lento kuyancunywa apha emhlabeni, or there's interaction where I get time with umama andinike attention, andiphulule, athetha amazwi aphilileyo as a child. Do you understand? Akhulele umntwana abukele uba makhe ehamba. Do you understand? Naye athi afuna ukuhamba. Every action ayibona kumama makhe, umama natural uyaqaphela uzathi suka. We never get tired, it's natural to us. Even amadoda, I think sometimes they get tired more than we. Tina, we've got a longer stretch of patience, particularly bantwaneni, because naturally it's not a role of influencing. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then kube khona lo muntu uzaba indoda, umuntu oyindoda physically udalwe waqina. Uyayibona, ungumntu wokusecure. Sorry, ungumntu wokusecure, wonke umuntu mayihlala endaweni yakhe, makuprovideke. Xa ifike beka pha inyama, umama naturally uyayithatha uthi zayiprepare. Do you understand? Kuhlaliwe apha xa utata engakwazi uvana nabantwana, umama uyakwazi ukuthambisa situation. Akukho nto ithethwa kakhulu apha, yi-energy, sithetha nge-energy. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, xa ujonga where we are now, if ndingumama akhange ndilwazi uthando kumama wam, zanga ndifundisa ukusocialize, zanga ndinike uthando as a mother, I get this child frustrated ngutata yakhe. All I do is the man was a frustration expression. Inhliziyo yami yophukile because lo tata uye what akathi. I'm transferring something to this child without me even realizing and knowing. And from my own experience, once ube kwispace sokungabi na positivity nolonwabo nothando nepeace, uyadinwa as a woman. Kanti thina siyakhuthala xa uphila as a woman. Ufuna ukubapha ngapha umhle. Uyabona lento ibonisa abantwana bathi mama omhle ngapha kutata it has an effect bayo mama lapha ekhaya. Now if now you're frustrated and you're broken, I'm transferring something to this child.
Yeah, that brokenness.
Naturally so uyayithatha uyenze yakhe. So nditsho kubana the mother then transfers brokenness, pain, tendencies, anger, bitterness to a child who's not better, to a child who does not even know all these negative emotions. And something else is coming which is now different from Leah. But we transfer all this negativity, all this anger to a child who has no idea what these emotions are. And that is why you'll find that a lot of abantu, they are angry, they don't even know why they are angry. Because by phone they are modeling something that they do not know. That is why you'll find a lot of children fighting in battles because if you go to schools, it's the number one thing that's happening. Children are fighting. Ask yourself, why are children fighting?
You even find like girls fighting like boys, like as Colwyn.
Yes.
You know, I remember since so there was this girl way better. Like ulwa like as umfana and the mouth checker, mouth bega background like family like into zinjani. You will always find
there are problems that trained him, Mama Kabinja. So that is problems abazali that they transfer to children without them even knowing about destroying impilo yomntwana even before aqala benempilo. So ezi zinto ke zezi ziphethe zi-affect i-masculinity ne-femininity, which is the core existence okanye principle yokuba umuntu aphile. So they end up affecting the core of masculinity and femininity, which is the basis of umuntu. And if usibamba those two, femininity and masculinity, I'm telling you, the natural process esadalelwa yona as people, which is less as deep GBV, depression, all of these things ezenzekayo are because siphumile sporweni. The natural sport, femininity, masculinity.
So corner the question here. So like especially since you touch on masculinity and femininity, which nangu mama tate khaya bebe chadile okanye bebe hlala babini shiya abantwana utata nomama, and then umama has to be the one or providing for abantwana, protecting these children, you know. Wonke lo msebenzi odinga abantu ababili bawenziwe fumanise ukuthi ke ngokusebenza umuntu omama, and then uthola ukuthi in the long run umama seke adopta these masculine attributes kuye, yabo izinto ezinjalo, and was adopta as an act of survival, yabo, because udinga ukuthi survive, udinga ukuthi abantwana bakhe babe protected, udinga ukuthi abantwana bakhe badle, and then she has to sort of like adopt, you know, these attributes. So like what will be your solution to is Ndozinjalo as the healing of hearts?
It's actually quite simple, Gandhi. The biggest problem it is that, and that's what we do as healing of hearts, is that is social support structure yabantu abamnyama, it is broken. Because into yokushiya kwabantwana, it is not something eqala ngoku. It's something that used to happen even back in the day. Because ngoku sayithatha on the form yoba men are negligent and they leave abantwana. Babeshiyeka abantwana, let's talk about positive, not positive but ezingekho planned. Where ufumanisa utata wabantwana uyasweleka, ube provider, he was here and he was playing a role as utata, functioner in a balanced manner. Once asuke, into bisenzeka bekuba khona abantu that will take over the role. Do you understand what I'm saying? Apho kuzaba khona omalume from the maternal side that will come and check on the well-being yabantwana. Bayaqeqesheka, especially bakhona abantwana abangabafana, bayaqeqesheka abantwana, udinga ntoni sisi? Do you understand? Otata omncinci, otata omdala, otata zala. Do you understand? Omama zala, otata bawo, aunt. There was a lot. Uyaqaphela that family structure was large, but the core role yayo yonke was a support structure. We have so moved away from a support system of each other, singabantu, where we are being westernized. That doesn't
Individualism.
work.
Yeah.
It doesn't work and it's killing. And now because we are how mental wellness yet has been affected over the years when we moved to this way of living. A lot of us are now adopting Western methods of healing. And it is wrong. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm saying the corners as
Yeah. The culture issue.
yes.
Yeah.
There were those ebezizezethu where kuzawuthiwa ingathi ubani noma ngumale female usengxakini atsalwa adonsele ecaleni kube khona some kind of nurturing healing azayifumana lo muntu. We have moved away from those, and that is why ubona sesikule ndawo school.
Eish. Uyazi into endiyivelayo sisi ukuba the healing of hearts, and as uyichaza ngakhona, it is rooted ukuthi uNkulunkulu ufuna ntoni ngempilo zethu, ukuthi like sibuyele kwindlela wayedala izinto ngakhona. And I think lonto le powerful because we attack issue at the root.
Yeah.
And you know, just hearing ilenduza ibali lakho isori sakho like ukuthi uye wasukaphi, what God did elenduza empilweni yakho, like I'm thinking of ukuthi currently, since also this Western way of life say corner and they say about affect abantu abamnyama, these ways that Africans used to live by, they are dying by day. So this thing that comes up, depression, you know, and from like even in language like like I don't think there's even a term for ilenduza depression izinto ezinjalo. And into ethetha kakhulu fumanise ukuthi omunye umuntu like they commit suicide into ezinjalo. They are even amapilisi antidepressant, you know, for abantu like who are suffering. Like how do you see or you can define ilenduza depression for 14?
With what I've seen in cases in this depression, I believe it's a mind. Once kwenzeke a situation a negative as a better impact, the mind tries to find a solution.
Yeah.
It goes searching. What is this? Why is it happening? What do I do? And once ingqondo izule ikhangela solution ingayifumani, ifana no machine ozawumane uyohitha kula ndawo, because ekugqibeleni situation or iyayibetha iyanditya, we understand. And now I can't find a solution. Can you imagine the collision that's going to happen there? Iya persist a problem. Sometimes I persist, but in betile there's been an impact. I'm bruised. I need to find healing. I don't know where to find healing or a solution or whatever. You get into, I believe, stagnation of some sort where you freeze in that moment and there's a death of some sort if there is no help. Which I believe, we talk about emergency help. Emergency. But are we doing the same for our mental wellness, spiritual wellness? We are not. But those are things we are not exposed to. We are able, because why? Society esphethe sikuyo ngokusifundise uba mandingathethi because ayithethwa loo nto. Because uncedo lokuqala luyafumaneka ube yaqaphela uba singathi sihlela apha ngoku ndihlatywe yinto yakho ndithi ouch uzawutsho nayo yinto
kwenzakala
uncedo lokuqala. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now kwenzeke iphutha elikhulu where ngoku sisathi savaleka nemilomo because we're trying to get to a unrealistic state as people of perfection. Ongayazi uba yayivele because there's no such thing as perfection. So I'd rather ndivala umlomo ndifundise la nto bendiyithetha nabantwana bam bavala umlomo bangathi noba ouch babathi
izinto zigcinwe ngaphakathi.
But if kubuye kungena izinto ngaphakathi nengqondo nayo iyasebenza, you can imagine ngeyami definition that is what depression is. Being lost in you kungekho sango laphuma neyindawo nje emnyama engena festile engena mnyama. and you die slowly inside.
So yeah, multi-tongue depression, yes, and also like ndiyakhumbula, even in my own experience, where I encountered Yona land, what you have just described, that's what happened to me. So kwesinye isikhathi you will hear voices, yabo into ezinjalo, and kwesinye isikhathi awunanto ozawuthetha naye, yabo. So healing of hearts, mandibega, sort of you do provide the support system ni lapha for ukuthi abantu like bakwazi ukuthi baza express, and then you are there to support. So like in terms of dealing with people about depression, uye wayifumana this structure where you provide that support system to be like the most helpful, like ebantwini, if like you have dealt with people suffer from or going through depression.
Yes, we have, and I believe again it can only be God, because what would happen, because I also had suffered from depression at some point. So what would happen is some people would come into our care who are taking medicine, many prescriptions, and we don't say they must stop the prescription. But what we look for is entryways to get into that abyss. Bakuvuleka noba yifestile, noba ngumnyango, noba likhoba, kube khona umuntu ozawungena. Do you understand? Funeka kube khona indawo yongena, an entry point. Do you understand? Because I don't believe, and that is my personal belief. I'm not saying everyone should believe that way. It is that for us to overcome situations like depression, it is not to take them away from the person. Because the methods that are used to help abantu with such situations is that they must cope with the illness. Because usayoyika lanto. But the moment there is someone or there are people abangena nawe kobo bumnyama, bahlale nawe kobo bumnyama, until you gain into ethi, I want to beat obo bumnyama. Zaboyiso obo bumnyama. Do you understand what I'm saying? That is the method that God has helped us use, which is why the support system. And for me, ilento yenza ukuba siphethe, because when you conquer into ebikoyikisa kakhulu, my brother, you come out a different person. You are never the same, because impilo actually is filled with challenges. Yes. Uthi naxa udibana nenye oqonda ba inkulu ubuqonda ndiyayoyika kodwa if ndakwazi ukulentuka le, it means I stand a chance. And that is actually, for me, what is actually needed for the mind. The mind was designed uba mayibe into ekhulayo, may develop it. Meaning ukukhula is to overcome. Because depression, it is such a big thing, because a lot of people are not beating it. They are merely living with it, or coping, or baphile nayo.
But some way understand that. So
not a lot of it is saying, let's beat these things better, Lendo. And we are as black people, that is what was done to us. Ubuthi xa ufika khona umntana okubethayo, ufika okokuqala kuthiwe thula uhlale phansi unikwisweet. Do you understand? Ngomso kuthiwe mkhaphe banibani ngoba kukhona umntana ozambetha. Okwesithathu kuthi ambethe nawe. Kwakungathi mbethe na uzukulinga ubuya apho ungambetha.
Thina sasesibethwe. Ukhala.
Uzukulinga ubuye apho ungambethanga. But ubuye uqaphela lonto yayinto eyenza ba as a person release a new self of you, experience a part of you you've never experienced before. A lot of these things is that abantu bafundiswa ukuba yakha a shell uhlale phansi kwayo. Asizukhula, asizudevelop, asizuyandawo.
Yeah, so ndizabuza i-question ethanda kuba controversial nyana. Like now, with regards to depression, the state now, and with regards to the healing of heart, the so like in your experience or your opinion, do you think that Christian churches are doing enough to deal with these issues?
No.
Yeah. So what mhlambe like ngaba intona ama causes, is it more of like abantu they are not equipped, the pastors are not equipped, or it's just a matter of like indifference abananda?
I think some they're not equipped. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
Number two, as in the situ, many people lendo sithetha ngayo ba yesibindi is not built into them. It develop German situ ba a lot of izinto ezi destructive zitransferiwe ebantwini from a very early age. Bakhula nazo, but there are people at the end of the day, they look at pastors and say, I'd love to be a pastor one day. And according to Sosbona, no one self-diagnoses, remember, uba kanene ndi no 1 no 2 no 3 and I'm transferred wayo kanene ndiligwala. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because Tina igwala wawubona ukuthi in terms that namhlanje kungathwa hayi abusive. Qala kwakukhutsha ba no awuzukwazi operate ngolu hlobo. And even if you take it to Christian terms of biblical experiences, God killed cowards. Wababulala ehambe nabo all the journey ebasekanani. But babafike esithi ambanojonga umhlaba babuya bethethe report wrong. He killed them. And umuntu uzawuthi why did he lead them through the desert kanti bayabulala? They would not be able to survive. The long and the short of it, if uligwala awuzuya kude, it even affects your walk. It affects and uzawuaffecta bonke abantu. Look at what we are facing today, where even in our Christian circles, I'm a woman oxabana now, and I'm ndithi jonga uyandigezela kodwa uyandigezela zawuyothatha my child who's 15 years old mama kazolwa nawe ndimgrumba makalwe battles zami. That's where we are as a people. Do you understand? Because kukhona indawo esi underdeveloped kuzo. And until we acknowledge where we have lacked and say, yo, mandingakoyika ukuthi yazi ndiligwana. Kubana apha kuni ongakandincedise bentwana kule ndawo ndiyaleka. Ndithi xa funeka ndithethe, ndingathethi lento ofana ndiyithethe, ndithethe enye into. Do you want? So there's a lot that I believe in churches is a problem. Le bana they don't know abanye they have seen it, because remember we are always most of the time what we have seen someone else do. So in Christian churches, everything most years is a program of ndibone umfundisi bakushunyayelwa kanje kwenziwa kanje, so I'll do just that myself. Okay, so imnandi ngaleli so mawuyibheka healing of hearts or andazi mhlawumbe experience yakho, or like mhlawumbe mawubheka in the future, is it an initiative that can be accepted in the current Christian churches? No.
Or is already challenge?
No, I don't think they would accept it.
Why?
And for me, that's not the whole goal.
Why?
Okay, I'll get into
finally.
And for me, that's not...
You are stealing all my questions. I was going to, but it's fine. Okay. All right.
And the whole point of it is not ubama accept wezi churches. I believe wonke umuntu unelungelo to express whatever ekuye ngaphakathi and do it ngendlela abona ngayo. Because the reason why in this situation is because a lot of women, I know from personal experience, go to churches because men and women actually, they are running away from situations that they couldn't overcome, and they say, who will hide me? And churches are come, we'll hide you.
Okay,
come,
okay,
let's hide here. A lot of people are hiding in church.
You know, Ndienda Chabula Manbona, I think a few days ago, a video where you went to a school and you did great there. And I even saw the respond, from when I love video, the way the girls, the children were listening, they were attentive to what you guys were saying. So, like in places such as that, so do you think with healing of heart, Kambe Izabanayo, a platform where it can help to assist some of these issues within those contexts? Yes, we'd love to, and that is the whole goal. Yes. Oh, excellent. So now, moving on to depression, I think sometimes talking about depression, it can even sometimes be depressing. Yes. So, like, just moving to now family and relationships. Like, the way South Africa ingakhona, you know, especially black families, like luthini uluvo lwakho, like when you look at in terms of relationship, male, female, and you know, children with their parents, and also husband, wife, like, you know, bigger, you know, in South Africa, like in terms of those relations, you know, like is are we or we are just stagnant, or are directionless?
I think siqale sabuyela emva, sa stagnant, safa, so basically we're directionless. And I think it's because kufair understanding of relationships in tone relationship. And the roles people must play in relationships, regardless of omnye uyayidlala na irole yakhe. People are in relationships because lo omnye uyayidlala irole yakhe, xa eyidlala ngale ndlela ndifuna ngayo nami sayidlala, if akayidlali ayike.
Uzazibona.
That is not what relationships are. If ndiyakuthanda ngumntana wami ugeze, umsebenzi wami is to continue being a mother regardless of, and we need ukuba, and I think uthando as well, we need to have a love engazubreakwa kukuba namhlanje ungenza into kuba ndiyakuthanda mandingakuthandi because ndiyakuthanda, because ayilothando all. And we are even so as I was reading about the organization, check and I saw something with regards to agriculture, like Enyenza, and I thought that was really great. Can you tell us more about Yona Intercon? Yes.
It's about what Nenzandoni ngayo and mhlambe niplane ukuyaphi malunga nayo?
So we started getting into agriculture last year because the whole point of it was that a lot of us siphetha sifile sikule ndawo sikuyo because we do not believe but out of our hands kukhona into engabhedla. And from my own experience I realized ukuthi once umhlaba obubona, because umhlaba awusena meaning kuthi in our world today, and the power yawo. And if mna as a person of Andiswa Mgwigwi, I put seed, I nourish the soil, and then after 2 months or so ndibone sekukhulisa ikhaphetshu. It's not only the fact that I can, that will be revived in my mind. Nestomach sam siyahlutha. Akho for us, the reason why siqala into sayibona iba akho nto ingozi ngathi it's a hungry mind and a hungry stomach zihambe zombie. Because now it changes source yethu to be a society that is driven by hunger. We are going to be slaves. Once you are driven by desire, something will enslave you. And ubona sino GBV, sinazo nemali, no nazo zonke ezi unhealthy things, we are enslaved because we are driven by a desire, and the desire is driven by a thirst or a hunger of some sort. So if we tackle as healing of hearts the spirit, the thirst of the spirit, the thirst of the mind, the thirst yesisu, particularly in women, Jonga.
So you are dealing with the person holistically.
Yes.
This is wonderful.
Yes.
This is wonderful. So, Andazu, do you have any question? Malonga Nalindos, we are just enjoying.
No questions, Your Honor.
Mandibona healing of hearts and what you guys do, providing this support system, of which I think it's very necessary. And I think it is best to put abantu like Buzz associated with these kinds of initiatives. And I think they are lacking in South Africa. So now, if you can just share a little bit, because I think Lentole is a healing of heart. The more niloge ni lento sizaloge izambula uNkulunkulu uzologe eyinweba eyiveza ukuthi okay ufuna ukuthi iyephi. Mhlambe like just nje in kancinci nje ukuthi like your future goals as a healing of hearts, and nokuthi abantu banganifumana phi xa bengabe benifuna okanye abantu befuna ukuba involved like in what you guys are doing.
So what we are busy now with is the women, because that's where we started. That's where our strong point is so far. Slowly but surely, we are getting interest from men as well,
that's great.
And we intend to grow because the society, it's not made of women only. We are not enemies of men. We understand. We also started initiatives with abantwana because many of the women that came with kids, and we started that wellness program with them as well, and we are seeing results abantwaneni as well. And we've started this agriculture projects, which we next year is when sizongena full on. Do you understand? We are doing events, themed events. From time to time where we speak those relevant topics as bona bazidla umphakathi singene kuzo uyabona and we engage because that's the one thing esingena kuyo uba let's teach our communities to engage about the difficult topics and then now we're getting into schools as well where abantwana sibona abantwana bangamantombazana because thina siqala le process esibadala as much as yes siyasinceda but kukhona ndithi if we were to start it even earlier what would happen and sibona abantwana but they are so receptive of it saying please come back so sifuna ukungena ezikolweni and sibe ngomama that abathwalisana notitshala omama bayafuneka ezikolweni kakhulu iyafuneka support system so that the learning process must flow more bazofunda more bathrive abantwana bethu more
nyangelo
yebo so those are the things so far esijonge kuzo so far in terms of reaching us we are reachable only on because see I develop even this online space we were not because remember this initiative it was just about me living my own life thinking you know what I just want to live and all of a sudden it became such a wildfire. Now we are still in development phase. Yobana sikwazi ke ukungena into social media platforms and looking for that relevant help to help us be reachable as well.
So ku Facebook uyafumaneka izinto zinjani?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. But as soon as we have developed zonke ezo ndawo wesifumaneka kuzo then we'll be able to
kunyanzelekile
I think iyadingakala healing of hearts. Ndingazi ubhuti angathebe ne question.
Yeah, I do have a question. Benzobuza ukuthi currently what is the greatest need mhlambe for healing of hearts?
Our need.
Yes. As an organization like Mawidega where maybe you think you are lacking, you need help or assistance who doesn't have.
Okay. I think we need a lot of this social media presence. That's where we need help a lot because it's not our strong point. Remember there was no goal. That is where I think we need the biggest help to expose and grow this organization for it to reach as many people as possible. And from there I think we will need infrastructure, do you understand, to help as programs to run more efficiently now to accommodate a bigger number of people. Njengoba sesiye abantu betshintshwa by the programs we are offering, we are seeing a lot of people who want to serve other people as well because they understand exactly where abantu bekhona. So basically as we are needing more hands as well because I remember the time besiye in the one school okuthetha ngaso we were asked abamadoda men did you understand?
Yes,
and I was like, you know what, yes, we want to have men as well, we need men.
Yes, because the boys were saying, remember the principal was saying the boys said they want also event
but though nalapho we don't need men, we need healed men.
Healed men.
Because they're going to bazawuhamba ngomzekelo ozabamosha abantwana. So we actually need men that want to start a journey of healing.
Yes, that's very important. And I think men avoid those kind of conversations about healing, especially when you have to talk about what's happening inside. Okay.
My feelings. We don't talk about feelings.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
So
So we need men that want to take a step in their own healing as well.
Yes. No, sisi, and as babu, any question?
Yeah, did you already say, Wuti, how people can get in touch now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or did you cover that? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, no. Babugeli, to our audience, siyabulele kakhulu. This was a great conversation. I've learned a lot from what I've heard from Usisi. Usisi Andiswa, she leads the Healing of Hearts. You have to watch out for this organization. And I think uNkulunkulu uzoyisebenzisa to really touch abantu abaningi because it is needed kulesikhathi lesiphila kuso la eSouth Africa, because we are in a broken society. We are a very broken society, and we need osisi abafana noSisi Andiswa, who stand up for uNkulunkulu, and then they do things in our society in order to change this brokenness. So to Nubian Exodus Umzekaya, no Putishaba, I think we sent a question.
No, I don't have a question, but I just wanted to say that to Andiswa that as I always say, it was too short. So you can come back again maybe after a few months so that we can catch up and see organization progress and all those things. Yeah, but otherwise, keep up the good work, as I always say, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Any last words?
It's possible to be well again. We are a society that gives up on ourselves. There's no need, because, and I think we give up on ourselves because when people give up on you, they don't have to tell you, but when they look at you, and you start giving up on yourself. And the last words I have is that rather than listening to the external voices, it's always important to listen to the internal voice. If you believe, there's a part of me that can still live, you can live. There's a scripture in the Bible named Tandai, where you find that healing is not only dependent on the person, it is also dependent on external people. Where the scripture Christ was sitting and there was a large crowd, but kwaba khona abantu that opened the roof. Yes. An unconscious man. That man did not save himself. He couldn't go to Christ and say, heal me. Yeah. But because Abba surrounded, believed in his healing, and Benyukela Pezul and even opened the roof, didn't he get his healing? He did. Because of what? The support structure. Yeah. Many a times, abantu means, including myself, azange ndiphile because I had any faith left in myself, but because the people that were around me believed. This is the last thing I want to say. When Lazarus was dead for 4 days, those are that even themselves given hope, the support structure that was calling Christ, come, we are far. The support structure gave up. But Uyesukai figure was the only support structure that said, and uthi ngabesithi kuye, hayi ngiyeke selefile uyanuka. Uthi andithanga nakuni xa nikholwa. Niyakuwabona amandla kaThixo.
Kunjani?
Thank you so much for having
me. From Nubian Exodus, the Healing of Hearts, I hope we enjoy the discussion this now. And don't forget to go to Zamuguti Landele, the progress that Ezobe, especially the Healing of Us, and also us. We'll also try to keep you updated with what is happening with the organization, because it is needed. So to Nubian Exodus, Healing of Hearts, Bye bye.